What is your life's purpose? Our lives are a process of continuous growth, with every moment offering up different opportunities to find purpose in our lives. Joey is happiest when serving others and making them smile. He's also most fulfilled when he's a part of a community and recognizes that his duty in that group is to support it. Tune into this episode of True Love Knots with Maria Romano with Joey Toth, COO of the David Tutera brand and a Keynote-Motivational Speaker, as he talks about mindset, transformational experience, life's purpose, coaching, creating a safe space, and defining success.
Hello, everybody. Maria Romano here, True Love Knots. Okay, so let me tell you, I am just crushing on my guest, Joey Toth. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes.
And first of all, for those of you who don't know who Joey is, okay, Joey's the other half of David Tutera, who has been in the event industry for over 3 decades, who has put on events for like Prince Charles and Madonna and Beyonce and J-Lo, and I can do a list and list on and on. And Joey, of course, is married to David since 2017, April 1st. Did I get the date right?
You did. Yeah, okay. We're 6 years now.
Okay. April Fools, but it's not an April Fools. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the man behind the man, and about him and your passion and purpose, and what the both of you are doing, your shared passion and purpose in the event industry and to help people. So sending you out love. Welcome, Joey. Say hi.
Hello. Thank you so much, Maria, for having me on your podcast today. I'm excited to be with you.
Oh, it's such a thrill to be here with you. So I have a couple of things. First of all, where were you born?
I was born in New Jersey, actually.
You're a New Jersey guy. Okay.
I'm a New Jersey guy, but only for the first 2 years.
Okay.
My family moved to Arizona. I grew up in the desert. And lived there for most of my life until about 10 years ago when I moved to California.
So you're a desert rat, I guess you can say.
I guess you can say
So you
that.
don't have any New Jersey accent. I still have a Bronx accent. So that's why I was teasing David about that. I said, you can still hear it, even though I've been here 40 plus years. So you grew up in Arizona. So a little bit about, growing up and where you went to school and what you did in your former life, because, life didn't start until you got married, right?
Life is an evolution. I'm one that believes in an evolution versus being a revolver and doing the same thing over and over. It's all about growth and new experiences and seeing new possibilities. And so I did. I grew up in Arizona. I loved Arizona. It's a beautiful state. There's so much to do there. It's very hot in the summer. That's its one downfall. My family, they all live there still. I went to Arizona State University. Right when I started at ASU, Chase Bank had opened right across the street from the campus. And that was my first job, was at the bank. And it was perfect because it's a good time to be in banking. They paid my full tuition. And that's where I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a banker, that this was my career. And I stayed there, worked my way up. My last semester at ASU, I had to do an internship. And I almost cheated and made my own internship with one of my other colleagues at the bank. And, I've just been signed the paper and done. But I listened to that little voice. And I believe in listening to that little voice. It's been part of my journey along this whole way that just said, you can do that, but don't. Take an internship somewhere outside. Just go outside, see the outside world, get a taste of it. And I got a taste of it in commercial real estate. And the part of it was the entrepreneurship aspect of it, to really be able to do and to create and grow and just see what could happen and what the possibilities were, and to benefit from the rewards of what you put in, you're going to get back out. And to really see that was much different than the bank corporate structure. And it really was a launching point for me. And I stayed in commercial real estate for many years, grew through there, learned, had the ups, the downs, the struggles, and the wonderful successes along the way. But then an interesting thing happened. I again listened to that little voice. I was at a real estate conference of all places in New York City, Imagine that. Um, it was a crazy day in December, snowing, and the conference itself was just not going that well. So I went back to my hotel, and unbeknownst to me, or not realizing it, where I was staying at a hotel that had the Chopra Yoga Center and Wellness Center in their basement of that building.
Okay.
And I had a time off. And so I went down there to go see what this thing was all about. And there was a yoga class. I'd never experienced yoga in my life. There was only one other in New York City, in the middle of Manhattan. There's only one other person that showed up at the same time that I showed up for my very first yoga experience. It was meant to be. That's how I look at it, because it was a life-changing experience for me. Being able to slow down all the swirling thoughts that go through our heads every day for, I think, each of us, and really slow that down and try to connect on, here are the things that truly matter to me. And within 6 weeks after that first experience, flipped my whole life upside down.
So that was like transformational for you.
Insanely transformational, powerfully transformational. Any single adjective you could put in front of transformation, it was. It was an awakening, I really think, for me, of that it connected me to a deeper part of who I was and who I am and who I wanted to be and become, and realizing the journey. And it's been a profound journey since then, because even here, that was 14, 15 years ago. But even here this February, I went to a fabulous retreat, and there again, through a yoga session, amazing new awakening and realization just happened for that next level of growth on my journey.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I know that you coach. That is your mission in what you're doing in life. And we always go through, they say, decades of change. And sometimes, when you said you went down in that basement, there was only one other person there besides the yoga instructor, correct?
Correct.
And it's almost like you have to quiet that monkey mind. And we do, because if we're in an industry where it's high pace, everybody's moving fast. If you don't, you're going to miss the bus or the train or the plane.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a time in life when this type of transformation really grounds us. It brings us more present into really what's going on, but around you, like looking at how wonderful life is. And in the world of commercial real estate, which is different than residential, you're dealing with different clienteles, right? You're getting them different type of mortgages that they're looking for, depending on what they're looking for, right? If they're buying, like large retail centers or, buildings or something, completely different mindset.
Yeah.
Which I give you a lot of credit for, which actually helped you, because you came from that banking industry, transitioned into that, which makes a big difference. But now it's like, wow. And you're lucky. You're younger. Most people only hit my age, where it's like, I'm doing what I love. So kudos to you.
I feel I have that immense gratitude that, for me, I had this aha moment very early on, that I did shift a great career. It was a great career. I was very young and doing very, very well. Actually afforded me then that ability to say, you know what, because I am young, because I have done well, I can take this leap of faith. And I know that I have a bigger purpose. I know and I see where I feel happiest is when I am of service and helping others, when I see that I can give back and make more people smile. Be part of a community and realize my role in the community is to help support it, to help uplift it. Because as I help uplift my community, I'm uplifting myself. I'm starting with me, and through me, I'm bringing others with me. And so it is a wonderful win-win-win all around. And that's what I strive to find that. And that's what I strive to teach in my coaching. And business coaching, personal coaching. I do both of it. I do both because I feel that they go together. Because if you can have the best business coach in the world, but if you have your stuff that's lingering on in your head, it's gonna still hold you back. If you don't realize what your self-worth is, if you don't feel that you're worth more, if you don't see that your worth is so infinite, is so just beyond priceless, see that expansive opportunity in it, then regardless of whatever best business coach you have, you're not going to reach that full potential, and you're going to have struggle, and you're going to hit that struggle wall, and it's going to get frustrating, and you're going to feel that boulder that still stays on top of your chest every day. And that was my gift, was when that boulder came off my chest and feeling that lightness.
So you said something, you're talking about that, when you come to a point where you're coaching people, right? And you're trying to get them to step out of their comfort zone and maybe to make a change in their life. That's why they come to you for business, right? Or for personal. So maybe you can expand a little bit, but my question is how do you move them? I mean, can you tell if a client is just coming and joining you with, and utilizing your services, and that they're not making the commitment? Do you keep them or do you let them loose? What do you do at that point in time?
I invite them to make that choice of what they're doing.
Okay.
I do observe. And then when I make that observation of somebody that's just, they keep showing up, which I'm glad that they keep showing up, but they're not doing anything in between. I invite them to just really look at what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Is it just, this is enough comfort for them, and this is their incremental change. Their incremental change is that they are showing up each week. And so let's embrace that. Or are they just really BSing themselves about this? And just have that real look at themselves in the mirror. And it's okay if all they can do right now, if their place is, this was my huge step, actually. It's my incremental change that I made it to another coaching session. Yeah, I didn't do any other work, but I made it here again. Then we're going to celebrate that.
I love that. I love that analogy. Speaking of which, so you, of course, you work with your husband, you both have an enterprise that you're building. So you're coaching. Talk about some of the other areas that you are both involved with. And then we're going to get into Cielo and Gracie.
Yes.
Of course, we got to talk about the kids, right?
You have to talk about them. And I love that you want to talk about them, because we'll save it, because I'll go just gushing there.
Of course.
David and I, when we came together, I was on my health and wellness passion. I was going down this road of coaching. I was very heavily involved as a yoga instructor. And I actually was going to go farther and deeper of going and getting a doctorate in occupational therapy. I went back to school after, 14 years. So I got the first degree, and I really just looked at it as my piece of paper that I needed to advance in the bank. So I did put the effort in. Well, I had to go back to school and do all the courses now to go into a doctoral program for occupational therapy. I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to make a difference there and help kids. But then along that journey, David had offices in New York, and looking at his business structure, it didn't make sense anymore living in LA. Having Cielo, who is now, at that point, I think she was 2 or 3 years old.
9 now?
Now she's 9, turning 10.
Mm-hmm.
But about when I made this shift to really work with David was about right before we got married, about 7 years ago. So she would have been three years old almost. I was going to go chase this piece of occupational therapy, of really working with then children. But we had a unique place of saying, what's best for our family? I have a great business background. My mind works in different ways than David's. David's mind works in different ways than mine. And there's a benefit to that. There's a big benefit to that if we're able to come together. And so we had of conversations really about, do I take this next step and accept the spot that I got in one of the doctoral programs And that was going to create a whole new dynamic for our family life and everything else, because we would not have that flexibility to pick up and go and travel together and have as much time as we do with our children. We looked at this ahead of time to try to plan. Or do we shut down his New York office and bring everything here to Los Angeles, because everyone works remote anyway. Even in New York, they were still working remote coming with that office space. And do I take a different role? And then together, do we find opportunities where some of our passions that we share with his of dreaming bigger? He had the whole piece of a series of shows that he did just focused on inspiring people to dream bigger, to stop thinking so small, and to get out of their way of lack and doubt. And do we join my passion with that? And do we create something? And we decided to join this together for the greater good of our family and for really those that we touched, of how can we create something that's bigger than us? How can we have fun doing it? How can we really share our passions in it? How can we share our talents of the pieces that David's genius in his creativity and his mind and just creating things that are never experienced or never seen? And how can I help him come in and curate those things and bring them to life and create systems around that and make sense of it all? And so we have done a lot together over these past now 6+ years of working together. We've created manufacturing lines of products with different manufacturers that we've branded and put his name on and had them in retail. We've created events that have just been out of this world and things that have blown his mind away. At the end of during probably one of the biggest struggles of COVID, I should say, but we found and we were able to secure one of the biggest experiences that he's ever created and that we both ever have created for a corporate client, to do a 100th anniversary celebration that was just out of this world. It connected over 35,000 people in this event on one day across the globe. It was magical and inspiring. And then we've created just beautiful events for private clients, whether it's been birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, that have been meaningful, of really being able to be at that place that we can choose what type of projects we take on. And then when we take them on with all of our hearts and souls and being. And you feel it.
Oh,
that way on event day.
I love, it's interesting because I do remember David speaking at Wedding MBA 2021. And he talked about this big event coming out of COVID, how it was the largest event. So you just don't know when we were, hunkered down, how we grow and then what could come about us as well. But, you talk about that you and him are different. And with whether business, any type of partnership, whether it's personal, professional, you always want to have, you don't want somebody like you exactly. You want somebody that's going to compliment you, and wherever your weaknesses or where you really need a little bit of assistance is where you have that creativity. That's how you both work hand in hand. So I love that. I think that really makes a big difference. And that's why your relationship is working. And I'm sure you have your disagreements just like anyone else in the world. But I want to read something to you that I pulled up that I thought was fascinating from one of the magazines that you were both interviewed, Authority magazine a few years ago. And it said this is what you had said. You said, what makes us stand out is our passion and care for making a difference, for encouraging people to dream big and then taking the action to make these dreams come true. We create unforgettable events, experiences, providing inspirational and motivational teachings, mentor opportunities. And, I feel today, now from my perspective, because I officiate, so even whether it's a small wedding or a large wedding, it's an experience. It doesn't matter if a couple shows up in jeans, in their bathing suit. I mean, this is Las Vegas, okay, or whatever. It's still an experience. And I love that because that's what's going to set people apart today, isn't it? That's going to set businesses apart, is about creating the experience.
And it's creating an experience for that person. It's meeting them where they're at. of who they want to be, not forcing them into something that they're not. So I think that's all of our keys is, whether it's personal or professional relationships that we have it's a relationship. So let's meet people where they're at of who they are, not trying to create them to be somebody else or make them feel that they have to be somebody different. Embrace their uniqueness.
And I think that is so true. And especially, and when it comes to curating, like you said, events and, you're putting together, it's a personal thing for somebody.
Yes.
It's something personal. So if you're just, trying to get them to use your vision and not take their vision, you're defeating the purpose. You really want to bring what they have, bring it and actually become created into reality, right? It's talking about that cake you're going to make, and then you make the cake for them, but it's exactly the ingredients they give you, which I love that. One thing is I've been officiating for years. I tried the little bit of the planning side. It's not for me. I give it back to people that do really well. And kudos to all of you. But if we can take a moment, can we talk a little bit about I call it the DTE, the David Tutera experience. Tell me how you both started it, how it's come to fruition, and what's going to happen this year in 2023, which I'm so excited.
DTE is that. DTE has been our passion project of really opportunity to bring people together to something they've never experienced before in their life and possibly never will again, unless they come back as an attendee for a second time. DTE is a place that we bring inspiration, motivation, education, and real personal, true life together. We create a safe space. That's the first part. Some people don't even understand what this safe space means, or they might say, yeah, safe space. I know a safe space. No, we create a safe space that's unlike any others, where your vulnerabilities that you have, that we all have vulnerabilities that we're scared to show to other people that sometimes hold us back. We create this space that just lets you feel so comfortable to let those vulnerabilities down, to share them, to share what that fear is, what your thoughts are, where you're putting yourself at, or where you're holding yourself back. And to then also feel from other stories of our educators that get on stage and share their real raw stories and facts of the successes and the failures. And learning that those failures, they were very, very important parts along the way. But the only reason those failures happen and those successes happen were because the courage to take that step. And so at DTE, our attendees come to this place because they realize that power they hold within to decide how their life will go. Things happen along our journey that are outside of our control, but there are things within our control. There are things within our power to make great, tremendous change. And there's our opportunities that we have to be open and see all the opportunities that surround us if we're not fearful to be seen. And so we see people at DTE.
And I love that, because that is it. I've heard it's an experience. I'm going to be, of course, one of the educators and share my story. But I think it's important when you say that, because in order for you to grow, you have to unleash those emotions, and we all have fears. And you're right. Every time a failure really is our success, because that's our springboard, because hopefully we learn. We don't make the same mistake over and over again. We hope, right? And if we do the second time, we hope we get. So I love what you're talking about, because it is so important, and safe is important. I listen a lot to Brene Brown. I don't know if you, how can we not love her? And she talks about when something's in the vault, it's in the vault. So when you're there, and what you're sharing really with others is really to remain there, because it's not our story to share with somebody else. And I love that. I think that is so important when you say safe. And that's just like a relationship, any relationship, you need to feel safe. And this is just a lot of people, a lot more people, making it.
Yeah.
When did you start this? When did you and David start this particular experience, the DTE?
We actually started right after our wedding. So we started in 2017. We loved the venue that we were married in at the Los Angeles Biltmore Hotel, historic, beautiful hotel in downtown Los Angeles. We had great relationships with them. And so we floated this idea, can we host a conference where we're going to bring planners in? And at that point, we called it a symposium because we didn't want, it wasn't a conference, but we didn't know what it was. So it was a symposium. Planners in, and we're going to have events, we're going to have educators, and it's going to be really amazing. It'll be a great opportunity to showcase your property again. We'll host another gala event here, and we'll work with, for that first one, they wanted us to work with actually ABC. They had their local chapter needed to have some kind of big cocktail hour that was not working out so well for them. So they partnered with us and we did a joint first night launch of our event and their event. And it was phenomenal. What happened was people showed up to our, quotes, educational conference, and it was so much more than that. And that's what we realized, that this was something very, very special. And it has continued to evolve. For me, it pushed my boundaries too. That very first time, I was so worried to hop up onto that stage and actually be an educator at this event. I told David, I've done public speaking for real estate conferences, but I have not taken my coaching past one-on-one coaching. I have not gotten onto a stage. I'm not ready for this. He said, well, this is our conference, honey.
There's a time to start right now.
Well, we don't have a budget to pay for other educators, so hop on up there.
I love it.
And I shook and I shook. Each step I took, a little less. And I felt a little better. And I made it through to the end of that first presentation, and I felt great that I had accomplished something. And now here, as we get ready for Cayman this year, I'm so excited to step onto the stage. And this year, my topic is around defining your success, defining what success means for you and only you as that individual. Because my feeling and my take from still these past 6 years, and also from our mentorship program that we do with people, and my private coaching as well, it's still, there's this piece that gets pushed on everyone of what success should be, how it should look. And my purpose at DTE Cayman is really to go deep and to make that connection for each of those attendees that I have the honor of speaking to, that you define what your success looks like and going through those steps of making it uniquely yours. And that's all that matters.
And that is so true, because success means different things to different people. Somebody, it could be a big fat bank account. Somebody else, it's just having the freedom to do the things they love to do with their family, or just pursue other, entrepreneurship, or I say philanthropic, adventures. So I love that. And that's part of also what I speak about, but I'm going to keep mine tailored and kind of work more on the power of loving your way to the top. So, but and you know what? I'm just so excited to be there. But I'm going to switch gears for just a moment, because I know I want to be mindful of your time. Let's talk about your family life. Let's talk about those two beautiful girls. Tell me how papahood is for you and what you enjoy the most.
It's my favorite thing for David and I both. I think fatherhood for us has always been something that we've wanted. For me, that's been something that I've wanted my whole entire life. I always wanted to be a father. My funny part was, I thought that I wanted boys. My surprise and my shocker and my absolute wonderful piece in life is girls, and how much and how blessed I am to have two little girls, because they are absolutely the best part of life. David and I, we figure out our business and our personal lives really revolving around them. It is important to us, and that's part of our journey and part of that conversation we had when we decided to work together, that we get to actually pick our daughters up and drop them off at school. We work around their school schedules. When we have to travel, we figure out, do we have to travel together, or can we divide and conquer on some trips, or can we have them join us on some trips? And we make it really, we're a community, and we are our little tribe, that we're together so much, and our bonds are so strong. Cielo wrote the sweetest essay for she's in 4th grade now, and so they're finishing up this school year right now, and so they have their end of year essay on optimism. And she wrote,
Fourth
yes,
grade. Okay.
yes. David and I, it was a journey in schools finding the right one for her that would put in some good foundations for her. And so we were so happy that we found the right place for her that is teaching values and looking at life in different ways. So her essay on optimism revolved around David and I, of how we approach life and how we share life and views with her and with others, that you have to have hope. And so when she wrote this essay that was really about our support of her, and her realizing that's what optimism is all about, of having this hope and this belief in yourself that anything is possible, that's just what makes it all worth it.
Wow. Now, she didn't cheat and use GPT, did she? No.
She would have loved to. She would have loved to, but I take that iPad away from her, and David and I both do. We're like, nope.
Yeah.
You do not get use Siri or Alexa or any other tool to write your homework assignments. You write it by yourself. Yes, those tools are there, but nope, we want what comes out of your head.
Out of your head and your heart. Now, how does she enjoy being a big sister to Gracie?
Cielo is, David and I both say this again, countless times, she's probably one of the best big sisters you could have asked for. She's one of the best siblings you could ask for. She loves her sister. She cares for her. She plays with her. She's kind to her. You know, that's not saying that they don't have their sisterly and sibling spats. They do. But when they do, they're so far and few between. And when they happen, they're done in an instant. And they're over something that was just probably because they were tired or hungry. So,
oh, hungry, yes.
Yes, exactly. So they're not, spats are so minimal. It's something that we look at and we say, this is how a sibling relationship should be. Of they care for each other. Cielo cares for Gracie. Gracie looks up to Cielo and cares for her. Cielo will tell a story at the dinner table, and Gracie's just so engrossed into whatever the story is that Cielo is telling her. But then Gracie, you know, has to get up and use the restroom. So Gracie will say, pause, pause, pause.
How cute. How cute.
That happened once, but then that happened again, and it's happened again and again. Here over these last couple of months, it's been this new thing that's so cute and so sweet, where Gracie's like just on the edge of her seat listening, but she has to depart for a moment and she'll be back. And she doesn't want to miss a beat of Cielo's story.
Well, I think from what I've heard, from what David shared with me a little bit about what you shared, and also I read in the book as well, Journey to Joy, that, you know what, Gracie sounds remarkable, but I'm going to use Cielo as the example because she's the oldest and she's experiencing things, you know, going through this journey with 2 pops in life. And there has been some challenges for her and some challenges for both of you, and how you both have been able to move through it and gracefully. And I think that's the key thing, understanding that, you know what, the way of the world is changing and we still have great moral values, but families are looking differently. And that's the difference. And people need to recognize that this is a change and this is the way it is. So kudos to both of you, what you're doing with her. And I know you switched schools. And again, I read a little, I read the book as well. And I loved it. And she's the one that's paving the way for her sister. because
Yes,
she
yes.
can share with her if they ever, we're going to have bullying. We're going to have people that say things in life. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter. And it's just a matter of, we can just, it's easy to say, hey, let it roll off your shoulders. It doesn't always work that way, because what
Correct.
you say has a life and can stay with somebody for the rest of their lives. So, I'm always believe in choosing your words carefully. And I think what both of you are doing is great. And also, David talked about that sprinkle, that dust, that fairy dust, whenever somebody just throw them
Yeah.
that. And I love that. But I want to add, because I know, I want to be mindful of your time. Share with us anything that's on the horizon, anything that you'd like to share before we sign off, because I have to have you back again. We didn't have enough time, but
I know. DT is on the horizon. That's big. The other thing that's big is actually tomorrow, I'm starting my next 100-day challenge with a private mentorship group. So I do small group coaching as well, which has been phenomenal. We started that, it was one of those blessings out of COVID, actually, something that you didn't realize that you needed to do, that you created and did. And it's been a wonderful thing. And so I do these 3-month group mentorship programs. Every 3 months is a different idea, topic, theme around it. This 3 months is around a 100-day challenge and just committing to a change that you've been putting off there and working through the next 100 days to make that change a reality, and having the accountability and the support structure around it, not just from me as a coach, because I'm your coach. You have the answers. I'm going to help facilitate you to find those answers. You have to get them and you have to do the work, but we'll be here with a support structure to hold you accountable to do that work.
could you share that? And how would somebody find out about you? Could you share that with me? Maybe after, when we get off, you can email me that information so I can put that in the show notes. You might have some people that might be interested in coaching down the road. Do you have a waiting list?
Absolutely, yes. And I
You
have a
have,
new program that starts, I do 3-month journeys.
and
They're
I
fun for me.
love,
That's what I like.
and you have to take off certain times of the year for your family. So we know that.
Absolutely.
First of all, I want to thank you so much, Joey, for sharing all of this information, being vulnerable about yourself. I think that is so important. And that's where we're able to grow, and also grow the community and help people move forward. So as I sign off, with everybody, as you all know, continue to stay healthy, happy, and safe. And as I always say, spread love. Have a great day, everybody.